I never planned to be famous. I planned to be loved, quietly, faithfully, the way a steady flame warms a room. But the night he betrayed me, something in me burned down, and in the ash I found a different kind of fire. His name doesn't matter anymore, but I'll call him Daniel. He was the kind of man who walked into a room and turned heads without trying. The first time he looked at me, I thought I'd been chosen by the sun. He said I was extraordinary. He said I could be anything. He said we would build our lives like a cathedral. I believed every word that in the beginning we were a duet, late-night noodles, cheap wine, sticky notes on the mirror with little promises. He'd sit on the floor while I practiced lines and melodies, tapping the beat on his knee, telling me how the world would someday listen. When small opportunities came, he handled the emails, the calls, the schedules. "I'm your team," he'd say, and I felt safe. Then, our dreams became his calendar. He liked my glow best when it lit his face. He corrected my clothes, my paragraphs, my pauses. I told myself it was guidance. I told myself it was love. I learned, slowly, how to fold myself smaller to fit inside his plans. The betrayal wasn't cinematic. There were no crashing cymbals, no lipstick on a collar. Just a text at 1:17 a.m., the kind that changes the temperature of your bones. "Don't wait up." I didn't. I went to the showcase anyway, because I'd learned that my intuition was always 5 minutes ahead of my courage. That I saw him from the doorway, leaning too close to a woman I'd met twice, the kind who laughs like she's already famous. His hand was on the small of her back, the place he used to call home. I didn't make a scene. I just watched him forget me in slow motion, like an artist painting over a sketch to start again. That I walked out into the winter and felt nothing. Numbness is merciful like that. In the morning came the hurt, a bruise that lived under my ribs, a migraine behind both eyes. He said it was a misunderstanding. Then he said it was my fault, for not being fun, for not being easy, for not being enough. The words left fingerprints. I started counting days by the number of times I didn't cry. When we ended, I lost more than a boyfriend. I lost a manager, an apartment, a version of myself that existed only in his approval. I moved into a sublet that smelled like dust and lemons, slept on a mattress on the floor, and worked morning shifts at a small cafe where the milk steamer screamed like a wounded animal. At night I walked circles around the block because my body held too much thunder to be still. That I didn't know how to heal, so I did the only thing I could. I told the truth. Into my phone at 3:03 a.m., in the cracked light of my bathroom, I recorded a whisper of a story. How love can be a mirror that erases you, how leaving feels like jumping without seeing the ground. I posted it to a channel that had 19 subscribers and forgot about it. By noon it had 1,000 views. By evening, 10,000. Comments braided together like hands reaching through the dark. "Me too." I thought it was just me. You put words to the ache I couldn't name. I filmed another. And another. I read from my journal. I sang the chorus I was too ashamed to sing before. I learned how to edit, how to color correct, how to breathe through panic when the red light turned on. Fame, when it came, didn't knock. It seeped under the door, an ocean finding every crack. Brands wrote to me. Podcasts called. An agent I admired slid into my inbox like a dare. Every milestone felt like holding my breath at the bottom of a pool, beautiful, heavy, a little dangerous. I smiled on camera and cried off it. I answered DMs until my thumbs ached. I learned to sleep in 10-minute naps between uploads and interviews. There were days I wanted to disappear. The comments cut both ways, devotion and cruelty living cheek to cheek. A stranger's opinion could tilt my whole day. I learned boundaries the hard way, by shattering them. I said yes until the yes felt like lies, then I learned to say no without apology. Therapy became a room where my voice didn't have to be good, it only had to be honest. The clip that changed everything was called, "How to Leave When You Still Love Him." I filmed it in a sweater with a hole in the sleeve, hair unwashed, voice steady. It wasn't advice so much as a map of the paths I took and the cliffs I almost stepped over. 10 million views later, I sat on a studio couch under 2 bright lights, and a host asked me whether I had forgiven him. I said I had forgiven myself first. It was the truest thing I'd ever said on air, and then there was the music. The songs I wrote in the Lemon Dust apartment turned into an EP, then a tour of small rooms where women sang my choruses back to me with their eyes closed. Every night, someone waited by the stage to tell me she left because of a sentence I said at 3:03 a.m. Every night, I went home more whole than I'd arrived. Daniel tried to return, as ghosts do. A message, a memory, a rumor. I didn't answer. Not out of anger, out of ceremony. I needed my silence to be a boundary blessed by time. People say I'm lucky. They see the numbers, the trophies, the way my name looks neat on a billboard. But luck did not hold my hand when the panic woke me at 4. Luck did not pay the rent while I learned to be a person who could stand on a stage without shaking. Luck did not sit in the front row of my life and clap when I finally learned to be kind to myself. That I am famous, I suppose. But that's not the headline I carry in my chest. The headline is this: I am a woman who survived herself. I am the voice I needed when I was small, the map I begged for when I was lost. If I shine now, it is not because he left. It is because I stayed, with the girl on the mattress, with the woman on the stage, with the truth that saved my life. But if you ask whether it was worth it, I will tell you I don't measure worth in applause. I measure it in the quiet after a show when the world is finally soft, and I can hear my heart saying, we made it. Not to a pedestal, but to a place where love, real love, starts with me.